Hey, everybody. So, happy holidays. It is the holiday season. And I know that for most people, the holidays are really happy and joyous, a time to really connect with the community and families and just really just have this amazing joy. But hi, Noodles. Yeah, it's nice to see you guys. Tell your mom hi too. Um, but what I wanted to talk about is the fact that for some of us, it's very complicated. It's not always this joy. Some of these things can be very complicated. And I'm going to talk to you about what I've experienced um, in this holiday season, some other holiday seasons, um, and just how I'm coping with that and how I'm doing with that. So first things first, it was oh yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you're here. So first things first, it was a really tough weekend last weekend. As many of you know, I have a son that is struggling very hard with some serious addictions, substance use disorder, and it was very cold, and he took money off my card without me knowing and bought drugs and brought them in my house and got so off that and high. Like, I hate even saying high. It was just off that and refused to leave my house. And the rule was that he could come over and he could shower, he could get change of clothes, he could eat, but he could not stay here. And that was one of the reasons, is because the behaviors that are exhibited when he is like that are make me feel unsafe, and it makes me feel mentally exhausted, and it really puts my health in jeopardy. But I also want him to have the things that he needs. So he refused to leave. Um, and it got really bad. He finally ran out of drugs, and I thought everything was going to be okay. And I'm calling all my colleagues and my friends, and we're trying to get him in somewhere. He's turning down everything: rehab, detox, mental health. Like, he's just turning down everything because he's just not in a spot to even think clearly. And so, we decide, okay, fine, we're just going to let him rest the weekend, whatever, try not to make waves, just deal with it. And on Monday, we will find him something. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do what I need to do for me and my family to my grandkids. So I decide I'm going to take us all out ice skating, Shelly and the grandkids. We had an amazing time. And so it was really great. And if you've seen the video, um, but it felt really good. I have not been ice skating in probably 18 years, 17, when I went. And not only was I able to like push them around on these cool little seals that they had, I actually got to enjoy myself. And it just kind of feels like flying. If you've ever been ice skating, it's just a really neat feeling. And I really enjoyed it. And I thought that I would fall, and I was really nervous about that, but I did not. I just picked it right back up. So that was really great. Come home, I'm exhausted, go to bed, and I wake up in the morning and to spray paint in my bathroom, which I was able to clean out. It's fine now. My purse was laying in the hallway with all compartments open, both credit cards gone. My house had just been like rifled through, and I just broke down. This is the first time really that he's ever taken from me like that and disappeared. So that was a really hard one. And I was just very anxious, and just my soul hurt. My soul really hurt. And this is a really rough time of year anyway. And to have, and I, not only on my aspect, but I can't imagine, like struggling like he is. And then, knowing that you, because of your behavior, whether you can control it or not, you can't be at family functions, you can't be around your children, things like that. So he comes back later that night, and he hands me my cards, and he's like, "Mom, I didn't take anything off of them." And I was like, "It's okay. I locked them. Like, this is, 2022. I just went on my phone and locked my cards. I wasn't." I said, "But, this is obviously gotten out of hand. Like, you can't be doing this." Um, and so anyway, sorry, somebody was like trying to like blow up the feed. Luckily, I have controls on there. Um, so he's like, "Well, I just need some clothes and things like that." And I took the cards and I was like, "Okay, get your things, so, and you need to leave." So he got his clothing, got, some food and stuff like that. And he's packing his bag, and I'm watching him. And he's like, "Hey, could you hand me my G's from the closet? Can you hand me, this camera that I got him for free? I mean, it's not worth anything." And I was like, "Yeah, and I finally, like, I'm handing him this stuff, and I'm like, "Wait a second, what are you going to do with your J's? What are you going to do with this camera?" And I realized what he's planning on doing. I just knew, right? Like, I was like, "Oh no, he's going to sell them for drugs." And I just looked at him and I was like, "Baby, are you going to let him take everything? Like, every single thing you have that's nice? You're going to let drugs take the shoes off your feet? Like, at what point you've lost your family and your children and time that you can never get back, and you're going to let these drugs take everything from you?" And he started crying, and I was crying, and it was just so hard. It was so hard. And it was just really something very difficult. And I didn't realize too that, and for those of you who don't know, I have a condition called bipolar, and so I am now coming out of it. But I was in a depressive episode. So what happens for me is I kind of cycle, even though I'm medicated and I manage it as much as I can. I still cycle a little bit, and I was going through a really depressive cycle, and that didn't help. And so I had to find, then luckily my friend Christina was going to come watch dogs. So what me and the girls and Shelly and the kids did was we rented a place outside of town in the mountains where we could all come together as a family outside of our respective environments and just come together and be together. But it was very difficult to do that knowing that he wasn't going to be there. On the other hand, so, and we do our celebrations because I just cannot get down with, some of the holiday. I believe in the holiday. I love the holiday season, but a lot of the historical celebrations are not necessarily good. So I just kind of believe that we're just going to spend time together as a family. We don't necessarily call it Thanksgiving, but we do a lot of the sides and stuff. So we were in this place, had a great time. It snowed, it was beautiful. And then we're having just this amazing time, amazing dinner. And it's nighttime, and both boys immediately spike a fever. Like, they're coughing, they sound like they're dying. Ollie sits up in he's sleeping. He sits up in the bunk bed and he's and I'm like, ah! In a snowstorm, what was, has now turned into just fear. So she runs to the store, gets, cough medicine and, some Tylenol to bring the fevers down, gives it to him. Everything, turned out okay. We come back after this, and I'm like, I feel great, everything. Oh, I forgot, when I was like in the depressive phase and going through all of that with my son, I decided that I couldn't handle one of my contracts and resigned willy-nilly, um, because I had taken something and ran with it, really, because that's what happens when you're not necessarily when you're in one of those zones. So yeah, ended up resigning from what contract that I really love and was super important to me in that moment. So things can get really destructive if you don't catch it, and so it's been just like one thing after another. And Thanksgivings are always hard for me in so many ways. Um, just because of past history and yeah. So I get back, of course, everything's fine. I'm like, okay, we can breathe, everything else. And then I get a call from Shelly, and she is just sobbing. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And she's like, my ear, I can't stop it from hurting. I don't think I'm running a fever, but I can't, it hurts so bad. I'm like, get over here. First I was like, you got some olive oil? She's like, I do not have olive oil. I was like, okay, I need to come over, you know. So I had some olive oil here, and we heated some up, got it in there. At least it stopped the pain. And then I was able to find what may or may not have been antibiotics for middle ear infections. And the whole time this is going on, I love my grandchildren. So my grandchildren are there, and they're like, are you taking mommy to the doctor? Is she going to go to the doctor? Mommy's sick. She's crying. And I was like, I know, sweetie. And she'd stop crying by now, but I was like, no, we can't take her to the doctor. And they were just confused as to why, when their mom was sick, we cannot take her to the doctor. So now I'm having to field questions, and not because I don't like lying to them. I don't want to lie to them. But in truth, how do I explain to them that because we don't have health insurance, or health care is not valued as a human right here, that their mom's life is not valued, that she, regardless of how hard she works, how great of a mother she is, how she just is so freaking amazing and rocks everything that she does, that because of the way our system is set up, her life without money has no value health wise. And that was hard, right? That's a hard conversation. So you just try to be like, oh, well, we're going to try to solve it here. We're going to try to fix it here. But the truth is that this whole system is BS. It's BS. And so many times, I'm looking at, if my son had gotten appropriate mental health care, and it hadn't been, there's so many times that cycles could have been interrupted and it didn't have to get this bad. But because someone somewhere was crying into their Wheaties about somebody getting something for free because they work hard for everything, I just can't even. I can't even. So that's like holidays right now for me. And I'm not sure what to do about it, but I know I'm coming out of this depressive spell and getting a little more energy. Now I have to figure out how to pick my broken pieces up off the floor. I guess like tonight I don't feel real broken. I'm okay. But I do feel like I'm just putting myself back together after everything. It's been a really rough couple months. The system is weird. It's this country, the United States of America, is extremely classist. And for some reason, your value as a human being is not even really based on your productivity. It's based on the view that you have from some imaginary overlords. I don't even know. It's so crazy. We literally signed the UN Declaration of Human Rights, and then we're like, It was nice. Yeah, we signed it, but just guidelines, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Um, so I'm gonna go through some comments. Yeah, in capital, it is not going to be able to sustain the people underneath it. The thing is at some point you have stomped those at the lowest into the ground so much that you can no longer maintain garnering capital, right? And so I really think that we're at a point where we have to do something different, and we have to push through things that policies, educate people on human rights, why it's so vital, social determinants of health. I mean, so many things that should be just basic common sense. But for some reason, we have a educational gap when it comes to social policies and working in community with one another. I'm going to address some comments up here because I've noticed they're coming in. Hi, Matt. I'm doing okay. I know he wrote this before, so I went on a whole spiel, but I'm okay. um, I did have a good day of things. It was wonderful. I do have to say though, like my daughters, they really put it together. They did a great job, and I'm just so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. I can't even like they're they're rocking it. And the fact that we're able also, we talk about trauma. We talk about how we're feeling. We talk about how we're feeling with one another. We talk about how to improve our relationships. Like we're trying hard to break these cycles. Um Hi, that one girl. Yeah, that's the thing is he can't stay. I still really want I do want him to have his needs met. So like last night when Shelly and the kids were over, I wouldn't let him in, but he did come by and he's like, "Mom, I'm really cold," which it's freezing out. It's like 38 degrees. And as a mother, my heart broke because I know that rock bottom many times means death, right? And I don't want that to happen. I also have to let him make his own choices, but death is a little harsh. So I had one last tent that I had shoved under my bed for emergency situations, like if I saw someone that was going to freeze to death or whatever. And I had a sleeping bag and gave him that and a bunch of Belvita bars and some water and, some clothes. And I, told him that's all I can do for you. But it breaks your heart. Like you never think, you know, I can remember holding my baby, right? And I remember holding him and him growing up and having all these dreams of how he was just going to change the world. And he was so sweet. But we never wanted this, right, for our kids. And so to see him slowly killing himself is just it's grieving. I'm grieving. If he can't grieve his future, I am. Um, he is 26 years old. Um, Hi, Karen. Hi, Mama Mode. Hi, Caitlin. Kids have, yes, they do. Really. They were fine. Like we drove out there, right? And this is a beautiful home, whatever, and especially my oldest daughter, she doesn't deal with people being sick around her. She's like, no, thank you. And, we all are very well versed on COVID, things like that. So this was even kind of touchy to get together in the first place because, the spread of RSV, all this stuff. And the fact that health insurance is very expensive here. So if you get sick, for example, Shelly, one of the reasons she was panicking is because she can't miss work, right? If she missed work, she can't take care of her kids. There's no, you're just allowed to fall. And with health, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Um, Holiday attached memories can be buried. They can. It is a lousy system, and it is weird. It is strange. It is very exploitative. So I think that while it is capitalism, I think it's also a mix of capitalistic and also an oligarchy system. Kiatsu. I'll look that up. I do not understand why it is so hard to have a system with health insurance. It isn't hard. It absolutely is not hard. And we do have things like Medicaid or whatever. The issue isn't that it's hard. The issue isn't anything like that. The issue is that we have a very vocal, I won't even say majority, but I will say a very vocal population that truly believes that people do things all on their own, right? So it's the pull yourself up by your bootstraps crowd. And instead of recognizing how the community works together and that in turn makes everything go, and each person needs to be healthy and thriving in that community. If you want a healthy and thriving community, they believe in self-determination. So if something was to happen to I doubt if something that happens to them they'll be like, oh, it's all my fault. But if something happens to somebody else, well, you must have done something wrong. There must be, it's the poverty equals morality narrative, and that is very strong in the United States. And I'm not altogether sure why. I am studying, I'm trying to learn as much as I can about it so that we can overcome this, and we can really push policies that are people centered and save lives. Because I truly believe that having healthy communities will do more for an investment in our country than anything else. Having healthy, stable, thriving communities. And you can't do that when you single people out and other them. Um, let's see. Share the truth about your heart, show the celebration of growth, progress, and encourage through the forest. Yes. And that's actually what I'm trying to talk about is, I know that I'm not the only one that's going through these issues. And all I can do is really talk about how I feel about it and how I'm getting through and how I am doing my best, right? Let's see. He can still change the world. It is not too late. That is true. That is true. And I am, every fiber of my being is hoping that at some point, he's, with all this, he's got an enlarged heart. There's so much to this. Yeah, sorry. Emotions, all the emotions. No work, no pay, unhoused returns. Yep. Hi, Seattle Judy. Good night, that one girl. Shell's feeling better now, and the babies. Yes, yes. Like I said, as soon as she came in, I already had the olive oil warming up, and I readily told her there is no data on this. And if you were to ask any ENT or nose and throat doctor or any primary care and told them that I was about to put warm olive oil in your ear, they'll tell you absolutely not. However, this has always worked in my family for getting the pain to go away. So I can try it because we can't do the ER. And so I tried it, and of course it works. It does. It works. I don't know why it works. I don't know that it has any merit, but it did. It took the pain away, and she was left with just some aching. And then I had kind of searched my cupboards to see what I had as far as meds go, and I actually had a antibiotic that was specific to middle ear infections. And I told her that if she wanted them, she could have them. But I was telling her to not take this from anybody. And again, if she was talking to a doctor, that was absolutely not right and all that other stuff. But since I had them, I would give them freely, and she can choose what to do with those or not do with those. So, and yes, she's feeling much, much better. She went to work and the pain never came back, and she's doing good. Restorative, sure. Hi, Noodles. That's part of why I wanted to get into medical work. I want to change what I can. Absolutely. And that is one thing that I really, working within the healthcare network for the homeless, that is something that, I've really seen is how everything comes together. And we talk a lot about like social determinants of health, how environment can impact people's health, and then how that can lead to other issues. Free healthcare is easy here in Sweden, right? You guys, I'm telling you guys, you Nordic countries have all the good stuff. We're all, he's like, hands down, I'm looking like if I'm looking at studies on solutions, and we're coming out more often than not, it's a lot of them are coming from, and good policy is coming from the Nordic countries. So hands down, you guys, yeah, you rock it. Priority 76. Hello, good morning. Or good morning. It is late here. So it's like, good morning. I guess I am in medical at the moment, though, during caregiver work. Yep. And that is what I call that is like health and wellness, right? Because caregivers are super important to the overall wellness of the client. Like when I'm at work at Donico. Now, Donico Pet Clinic, I think I've told you guys this before. Anyway, yeah, and that's the one that I love. I actually resigned from. But anyway, don't pay any attention to that. But Donico Pet Clinic, they do free and low or free vet care for those that have low income or experiencing homelessness. But then we added in Neighbor Care Health, which provides the owners with a chance on Thursdays to see our physician. Now, when I am not a provider, I am not a healthcare provider. However, when someone loses a pet, since we do not have mental health on board, I do provide wellness. In other words, I can go and speak to them and really listen and follow them, which, by the way, I don't know if I've been on here since then, but Stephanie, the one I told you about that had lost her dog and had was going to Pennsylvania, made it to her aunt's. And I wanted to throw out a huge, huge thank you to those of you who helped with that. That was absolutely beautiful. And luckily she made it. Her dog's ashes will be sent and a paw print. You are doing fine. Thank you. Here it is 8 a.m. Oh, so it is good morning to you. I will be going to bed soon. Sweden has the model health plan. Yeah, like I said, it does, but that again, that's when you see your government actually take it's not just a signature on that document for human rights. They take that and they work that into their policy. They take that and they work that into the way that they govern. And that's really important, right? These things cannot just be, oh, yeah, this is nice, we'll hang it on the wall. This has to be put into action. This has to be put into policy. We have to get people understanding how things work together, that no one is an island. Yeah, I know, right? Yay, Stephanie. I was so excited, and it was just really great to be able to, those are the things that I love, is coming into contact with people and being able to help in some way. Even if that's the only help I can give is texting to make sure that, somebody is all right when they've experienced a big trauma. So anyhow, yeah. So what's next? Because it's still the holiday season. So I have a contract ending on the 15th again because, depressive episode and threw my hands in the air and was like, fine, whatever. Stupid. But again, reality, that's what happens. So now we have decided that because it went so well with getting a place like outside of town where all of us can converge and be out of our environments, we are going to do that again in the end of December to celebrate um, our family holiday. I am not religious or any denomination by any means, so I stop short of calling it Christmas, but that's what it would be. It would be our Christmas celebration. Um, so we're going to do that again, and I think it'll be really great. And we're going to pick a very beautiful place, and it is so low stress, right? Because like if everybody's coming into my environment, I'm like but all of us converging on a place that we know that we rented, and it's just, we brought food in and we just sat with each other and enjoyed each other's company, told jokes and laughed. It was pretty awesome. And Amelia made her first snowbird, which was really cute. I'll have to share that video. I put it on TikTok, but I haven't shared it here. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all. Oh my gosh, spice cider. That is lovely. I love spice cider. I actually have some apple cider. However, I am like sucking down coffee at 11:16 p.m. So it'll be all right. But anyway, you guys, I just wanted to share that with you. It's not always good news, and I struggle like everyone, and I know I'm not alone in that. And so if you're struggling, you're not alone. And those pictures that everyone shows that are just joyous and happy and lovely, those are moments in time. And it doesn't mean that there isn't some very confusing and challenging issues in there. Baker's clay ornaments, yes. Also, what are really good, you make these like cinnamon ornaments and they smell nice too. I should do that. It wouldn't be coffee with Manda if there wasn't coffee. Right. I agree with that. All right, you all. I'm actually going to be on tomorrow doing a live for a fundraiser for Donate Co. So yeah, you'll see me tomorrow. Pop in and say hi. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.